Hey, welcome everybody. Tony Porter, and this is Tabletop Baseball Digest, Tabletop Dice Baseball Digest, and we're doing an unboxing. Yes, we are. We're unboxing a classic retro game. This is an inauthentic unboxing because I've had this for a while. I don't know that I ever looked at it. I get some of these sometimes and just put them on my shelf. Over time, I kind of find deals and just pick them up, and I like Statis Pro. It's got that nice, that very nostalgic retro feel of a classic late 70s, early 80s game. Jim Barnes was a pretty darn good designer. There's a lot of great features in this game. A lot of things that he was motivated. He knew of Strat. He knew of Sports Illustrated Baseball. He knew of APBA Baseball, and he wanted something a little bit different. He wanted something with a little bit more pitcher batter interaction, and he is going to do that with and he also moves away from dice and uses fast action cards as the driving element of his game. So let's look and see here. Now this set I probably picked up pretty cheaply because, as you can see, it's pretty beat up on the outside, but on the inside it's never been played. So I don't know what the story is with that, but it is what it is. Now sometimes I get these boxes, as you can see, the edges are pretty frayed and coming apart, but what I do is I kind of repair them a little bit on the inside. As you can see, I do that sort of thing to just kind of keep it in one piece. I haven't done that with this bottom part of the box. It's coming off in the corner. But let's look here at what is contained in this game. Now, let me tell you a little bit about these. These are extra cards or blank cards that you can use to make extra players or players that were traded, or a whole bunch of different things you can do with these. They're good to have, and they don't come in every set, so when I do get some, I make photocopies, and I have them here, and you can see that. I'll cut them out, I'll kind of measure and use a pencil and kind of draw some lines, and I'll have extra ones. So I don't use the originals. I'll make copies of those, and it's just the template for the card. So, but these are cards you can get seasons for $10, $12 online on eBay from various different people. I always buy from a guy named Big Dave, I think it is. His cards look the most like these cards, so I always go to him when I was buying sets. Now I just go to the classic sets, and I just kind of mostly replay 70s and 80s, mostly 70s teams. So anyway, this is more copies of those original blank template cards. Now here are the cards. These have never been separated. This is the 1983 season, and this kind of unfolds into a much larger sheet. So this is right directly from the printer. Okay, it gets larger and larger, and as you can see, different teams are represented. The Pittsburgh Pirates, the St. Louis Cardinals. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see the San Diego Padres, San Francisco Giants, and here you have all the stars. This game runs from 11 to 88, so those are the numbers that they use for this game, 11 to 88, and the outs are high on the batters, and the hits are lows, and you have the pitcher-batter interaction. Now, you also get every player in a lot of these seasons. Yeah, you have players here who only played in 6 or 7 games. They were able to do that back in the 70s and mid-80s because you didn't have 50 guys on a roster. Nowadays, you got 50 guys, so it's a lot harder to do. It's a lot more expensive. Back then, things were cheaper, so you can have this game went with every player. And they're small cards, and so they're easy to kind of store. This box is about the size of the largest book you can have on your bookshelf, and you can put that up with the books, and they don't take up a lot of space, and it's real cool. So here are all your players. There you go. Pittsburgh. Gene Tennis was on Pittsburgh in '83. You got Jason Thompson. You got Marvell Wynn. You got Dave Parker, Tony Pena, and so on and so forth. Lee Mazzilli, Jim Morrison, Milt May, Bill Madlock, Johnny Ray. Johnny Ray is a pretty good player with the Pirates in '83. I've replayed '83 so many times because that was a big year for me since Seaver returned to the Mets. But this is what it looks like, and you're going to see more here. Now, I got several of these sets that are, that are pristine like this and never. Here you got your pitchers. Your pitchers are blue on white, and your batters are black on white. And this is then you have some extra player cards for, I guess, some templates, some more templates here on this. And your pitchers: Sid Manji, John Montefusco, Gary Lucas, Tim Lawler, Luis De Leon, Dave Dravecki, Andy Hawkins, Eric Chow, Elias Sosa, Minton, and Gereltz, and Kruko, Brainin. All right. Anyway, so that's that. Let me see if I can close this. There we go. Oh, put it away. There it goes. All right. So let's see what else we got here. Los Angeles, the Dodgers: Landro, Landis-Doy, Guerrero, Fimple, Espy, Brock, Baker, Anderson. Anderson, he played, let's see if there's a player here that didn't play a lot, so we can. This guy played only 15 games in the outfield, and he's included. There's several players that just only played, single. Here, Mike Stenhouse, 5 games at first base and 9 games in the outfield, and he's included in the set. It's 14 games, so you probably didn't have more than 30 at bats, 20 at bats, something like that. So you get, I'm pretty sure you get all the players, or at least 99% of the players, and so on. So you got American League, National League. Okay, and here are your rules. So this is a real easy game to learn. This is for the guys that haven't come across this game or haven't been introduced to this game and happen to kind of see my video, and they'll be like, oh, sounds interesting. I think I'd like that. Has a real, like I said, retro feel. It's created by a guy that was, knew of and played Star-O-Matic, played APBA, and so he's a good designer. His rules are very straightforward, very easy to follow. The charts are super easy to memorize. 7, 8, 9, that type of thing. And it's either a deep fly ball or a regular fly ball and that sort of thing. So it's not really complicated. It'll tell you, and those results come right off everything is driven by the fast action cards, and we'll look at those in a second. But here you have the introduction. It's a small paragraph. Then you have the game equipment. You have setting up the game, the basic game, how to play, rules of play, which is not a big paragraph, lineups, scoring, abbreviations, gives you all the abbreviations, like I was saying. Let's see, infield fly. Here's the other. Injury, strikeout. Okay, it doesn't say the double to left, double to center. Okay, these are more the abbreviations for hits. Then you have reading the fast action cards, how to read them. Uses a base 8 numbering system, which means no 9s or 10s. So you need if you want to play with this game with dice, you can also do that. Just roll 2 dice and use fast action cards for some other part of it if you choose. You can just mess around with it. I have some videos using the dice method as well, and there's some rules floating around out there that you can grab as well. Basic play steps, very simple, very straightforward, very basic, but it has, advanced elements, and there's pitcher batter interaction. Okay, and it's definitely a cool set to have, and it really gives you that 70s, 80s feel. Basic play results, then it goes into balks, wild pitches, pass balls. It has everything. The fielders have several ranges on them. You have special defensive plays for the superstars. You have base running speed, and you have overall speed. In other words, you have base stealing speed and overall speed. You have sacrifice bunt capabilities for each player. You have clutch hitting, ratings for each player. Um, Left-handed batters do certain things. Right-handed batters do certain things in terms of their outs. And let's see. Let me try to think of one. Okay, so you have an E rating and you have a range rating. So you have both those things for your players, I believe, off the top of my head. Or is it only the? Oh, you have an arm rating. Okay, you do have an arm rating, and you have an error rating. So those are the two things you have for the outfielders. Andre Dawson is like a T4, and that just tells you what part of the chart you're going to look at. So it doesn't have a separate range rating, a separate error rating from what I'm remembering. Then you have an advanced game version, which is also easy to follow. So here you have pitcher reductions and advancing on fly ball options, squeeze play, runners advancing base hits, hit and run chart, bunting. You have everything you need. And then, of course, good and bad stuff for pitchers. There's lots of different advanced features that you can also integrate into your gameplay. Guarding the third base line, you even have that aspect of it here. Alternative infield positioning, pitching around hitters. Wow, it's got a lot of stuff. I never got to using any of this. I'm just like so straightforward and just I keep it pretty simple. Left-handed, right-handed pitching and batting, that is included, so you do have splits in this game. It's a very easy to follow system and pretty smart. Steals of home and double steals, how to rate the players yourself. And that's why you get all those template cards, right? It tells you exactly what you need to do and how you have to calculate it all. And there's, I think, charts here that tells you how to do that. Jim Barnes was a little bit, what game this reminds me of, just because it offers you the guidance to create your own cards, which, is time consuming. But some guys like to do that, and that's fine. History Maker Baseball offers a book. You can pick up a book, I think $12, $14 now. And that guides you into using the stats to quickly make a player. But of course, this is much more complicated. History Maker Baseball, you can do it much quicker. Anyway, and that's then you have some charts here in the back. Basic chart. I'm not totally sure 100%. You got to read this end section here to figure out probably what that's all about. And that's it for that. Those are the rules. It's only 6 pages long, so easy to play. The basic version, super easy, but it still has the elements of more advanced games. It does have the pitcher-batter interactive aspect. Now, here are the fast action cards. There should be 98 cards. I don't know how many I have. They're brand new, never been split up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't know. I should have 98 cards here. I'm not sure. I have more. Oh, here's another section of fast action cards. They start coming apart after a few years. Remember, this is copywritten in 1982. I'm trying not to destroy it or... sometimes when I have plenty of sets, and sometimes I get sets that are already opened up, and I use those. And sets like this, I don't know, I just feel bad about separating all the cards, so I just kind of keep them that way. They've been around so long. It's a 40-year-old set. These sets can go for anywhere from, $30 for kind of beat up used sets to, maybe $150 depending on the condition of the set. Here is a book of score sheets, and these score sheets are very unique, and they gave a lot of score sheets, and they're back and front. As you can see, you probably get, 30, 40 score sheets on each side, so that's about 80 score sheets. So they were very generous with sending score sheets, and some guys really like this. Now, for me, the boxes are a little bit small, but some guys who've played this for many years have gotten really good at writing small, and they have a system that it works. I always felt like all the players, I'd like spaces between my players, so I can, even though, so I can do pinch hitters and I can do double switches and stuff. This does not have that. They're all listed straight down. And that kind of didn't work with me. Also, they're very, very close together, and I can't write that small. Probably, well, my eyesight, I guess, isn't that great either. And then all the way down here, you have the pitching section. It has a space for home runs, wild pitches, hit batters, balks, and balks would always be zero. I mean, how often do you get a balk? I mean, I get a balk maybe once every 10 games or something like that. So anyway, you wouldn't have a lot of that going on. But these score sheets are very cool. They're very old school. You can reorder the game from the game company. This is 1978, the Avalon Hill Game Company. So you got to go back in time to do that. All right, so these are the charts. The charts are very, very easy to read and very easy to learn. So they did a great job on these charts. I really like the charts. This is your basically your main chart. Your runaround, bases empty, runaround first, runaround second. Guy reaches first base, steals second. So nobody's on. Here he reaches first. Here he steals second. So now you have three types of ground balls: the G, the GX, and the GA. The G is going to be a double play with a runner on, unless he's a real speedy batter. He's a speedy runner. And he'll basically beat it, and it'll be a fielder's choice. Not always, but some of the time. If it's a GX, it's going to be a fielder's choice, force at second with a runner on first. So this is your G. Your G's are double plays unless he's like super fast. Then he'll beat the plate at first. For guys that don't hit into a lot of double plays, they'll probably have OBR or offensive base running A's or B's. Then you're going to have your A's with your ground ball 1A, which is to the pitcher, your ground ball 2A, which is to the catcher, your ground ball 3A, which is to the first baseman, 4A, which is to the second baseman. So really, an A means advance, so they just advance. They even advance runner to third on ground ball to third and ground ball to short, runner to he was on first, so yeah, they're going to advance, right? When the runner is at second base, that's going to change a little bit. If the ball's hit to the third baseman or shortstop, he will hold. On this one here, on these two, they hold, I believe. Ground ball, runner on second, ground ball out to first, runner to third. Okay, but if it's hit to the third, so ground out third, runner holds third to first. So it's a ground ball 5, which is the third baseman. He throws to first, and the runner holds. So anything on the left side of the infield with a runner on second, he'll hold. If it's to the right side, he'll advance, which is baseball 101. So these are really cool, and they're different colors for each situation. Then on first and third, you have the yellow chart. You're also going to have errors for each situation as well, and you have error ratings, and each player has their own error rating: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're going to have that. What else comes on here? You're going to have unusual fielding plays. You're going to have unusual fielding plays, and you'll have another thing here. You're going to have unusual plays and injury out chart. You have a whole injury section here for guys that like to play and figure out injuries. I play injuries for the games now. I never did that before, but for games I do that just to have some more movement, so I don't get bored, and I want to keep everybody the same. So if a guy, if I come up with an injury number, I'll just pull him out, and he's going to go to the trainer's room and take some aspirin. He'll be back the next game. All right. So anyway, those are the charts. Charts are very cool, and the fly balls. Before I go into this very extremely excellent, nice quality game board. High quality game board. I'm going to mention also the fly ball outs, which is F7, fly out to left field. FD7 is a deep fly ball, and certain runners will advance. If they're at second base, they'll go to third. Fly ball center field, again, it gets easier and easier to advance to third base the more to the right of the outfield you hit the ball. Then you have line drives, and you have a potential for a CD2, which is a clutch defensive player out of 2, will double somebody off on a L4. So you have line drives, and then you have fly balls, pop-up, soft pop fly, foul out to catcher, foul out to first, pop out to second, pop out to third, and then of course an error sequence with a runner on second, and it goes that way with all the different situations. Very well done, excellent, easy to learn, easy to memorize, and I highly recommend this game. So especially those boards are very well done. Now this is the game chart. Well, it has charts, and this is the game playing board, which is another level of excellent quality and clarity and easy to follow. Has a whole field for you you can lay down on your tabletop. Up here on the left side, it has stolen base charts. It tells you, depending on what card you pull and what number you get, as to what the speed of the base runner. The better base runners will have, or the better base stealers will steal easier. Good catchers will throw out more base stealers. You do. The catchers have a TA rating, which is a throwing arm rating. Then you have stealing second, or stealing from second to third base. That's going to be much harder. And then you have steal attempt at home. It's all right here, right in front of you, and it's all very, aligned. So it's not, it doesn't use one game system for stealing second base and then complicated to third base, and then it's all aligned and it all flows. This game flows. This game is created by a designer that definitely knows what he's doing, has a plan. There are no patch jobs that I can identify in this game, like in a lot of games that I don't play. It seems like they created one part of the game, and then the rest they didn't think it through, or they didn't play test it. They just allowed people to just throw ideas in, and they just pile the ideas on. And those are the games that for me, they don't flow. This game flows. Even for an 80s game, it definitely flows. An early 80s game when technology was and information was not readily available for new people to create things. But this Jim Barnes, the creator of this, was I think it's Jim Barnes. That's his name. I hope I'm not making a mistake on his name. But he was definitely a gifted, I would say a gifted designer, and I feel confident in standing by that. Then you have runner advancement charts, and it makes sense. If you're going to third, single to left, it's going to be harder. If you're trying to advance first to third on a single to center, it's a little bit easier. First to third on a single to right is a little bit easier. And then, of course, you have throwing arms for the outfielders. The better arms makes it harder. The range by which you can be safe will be reduced because they have a stronger arm. So you're not going to want to run on those better arms. You're going to probably run on the weaker arms, and that'll probably get them. I don't know how it'll work on the stats with doing that. That's a tricky one. Without making it too complicated, you want to have the appropriate number of assists, but you also want to have the appropriate number of runners advancing or not advancing, meaning that sometimes the best arms don't have the most assists. How do you do that in a game? It's tricky. There are very few games that can manage that and still keep a good kind of pace going. And I know, for example, Fall Classic Baseball does that. They're able to recreate the assists, but also have the batter influence the advancement of runners at the same time. So they can do both. Runners advance on base hits. We did that. Hit and run chart is right down here. Up here you have the sacrifice chart. Of course, the better you have hit and run 0, 1, and 2. So guys that make more contact will be better. For sacrifice, you will also have ratings for sacrifice. You have the I don't know if you can see that. You have the AA, the BB, the CC, and the DD. So 11 to 18 for a really good bunter, 11 to 17 for a BB bunter, 11 to 15 for a CC bunter, and 11 to 13 for a DD bunter, probably like a Reggie Jackson. You're probably not going to want to sacrifice bunt with certain guys. All right, so here goes. We slide down, and let me just move some things I have here to the side with some cards. All right, and we have the clutch defense. So your better defenders are going to make extraordinary plays on the field, depending on, are they CD 0s, CD 1s, or CD 2s. If you don't have a CD rating, then you're probably not a clutch defender. How he arrived at that, maybe, I'm not sure how he did, but he did create it. Clutch batting, so clutch batters will also do that. So your better batters, your better hitters, high RBIs are going to come through in big situations. So this is cool if you want to bring up, save that big hitter for the clutch bases loaded situation, and clutch batting comes up, a BD it's called, then he will have an advantage. If he's a BD2, 11 to 42 is a double to right center, all runner score, that type of thing. All right, then you have bunting for a base hit for guys that like to do that. I never ever have done that in my life. I see that as part of the hitting card. That's already kind of calculated in, but some guys love to do this. They feel like, satisfaction, and that's fine. Defensive options, play chart. Here you can do different things. Offense decides whether to send the runner. You can do that. I hold the runner with no outs and send the runner with 1 out when on third base. I just use that for both teams because since I'm a solo player, I have to have a system that's fair, and I don't want to be, caught in between trying to decide. Squeeze play. You want to have a squeeze play. Here's a whole chart for it. I think I've done one squeeze play in my whole life, and I don't know why I did it. I think it was successful, actually. And advancing on fly ball option, here you have, you can advance depending on your speed, and then of course it has to do with the outfield arm, so you have that option as well. I played a game where they had no sacrifice flies, when it first was delivered. So he was sending out games, and it really, you went the whole month and you never had a sacrifice fly. And then when you would tell him about it, he would be, offended and basically ignore you. So then guys had to kind of create, so if you want to know what game that was, let me know, because most of the players kind of built the game beyond the batter-pitcher interaction, so everything else is just kind of a patch job of different people saying, oh, let's try this, oh, let's try that, let's try the other, and nothing really flows, nothing is connected. This is all connected. It's the same system that runs every chart, okay, every sub-chart, if you want to call it that. So it's easy to follow and easy for you to get into the game, flow, because once you have the understanding that, okay, these are the numbers and this is the base runner, or this is the sacrifice ability and where that is on the card, and on, you're going to understand every one of these charts, and whatever one you want to use, you can keep on making the game more and more advanced as you learn it. Now here's where each pitcher is going to have his, this is almost like a form of batter's faced, but he had his own system. So obviously the pitchers who had the most innings will be high up, and the pitchers who, like relief pitchers, will be lower in the end. And this is every time you give up a hit, you move down 1. If you give up a run, you move down 1. If you give up a walk, you move down 1. That's how that works. Intentional walks don't count. I don't count unearned runs, but you could, because you could make the argument that, hey, the pitcher's, facing more batters, so he's getting tired. So anyway, that's a whole nother can of worms for a different day. And here you put your pitcher card, your home pitcher card, your visiting pitcher card, your home pitcher card. They have tokens that come with the game. You'll probably see them. I'm pretty sure that this game has tokens in it. You have your home team lineup, your visiting team lineup. You have outs. You have your fast action cards and your discard pile right here. And I didn't spend too much time on the fast action cards. I probably should go back to those a little bit, because I think you want to see those so you can get an idea. So all this stuff like folds up really nicely, as you can see. It goes right back in the box. So it's very extremely well designed. It's thought out. Okay, somebody thought this out and spent time, organizing it. And not only that, then he shared it with everybody. He said, guess what? I'm going to share it with everybody, and they can do whatever they want. And all this stuff is pretty much free online at some level. You're obviously not going to get this quality of material if you print out in your house, or But and it's just nice to have these anyway. All right, I want to go back to this is a little bit long, but if you're interested in learning about this game, I think you'll appreciate it. These are the fast action cards, and you pull them. And believe it or not, once you get to about 10, 15 games, you're going to be you're going to be like a Las Vegas, casino croupier, right? I think that's the word. And you're going to be, dealing your cards fast. It's going to be pretty. You're going to be impressed with yourself. So you've got random numbers for when you need it, for different things. For like advancing and stealing and different things. You'll need random numbers, but you have your pitcher batter card number. So the better pitchers will have a bigger range. So this number, when you pull it on better pitchers, it'll fall on the pitcher's card, and that'll give the pitcher an advantage. If it falls on the batter card, it'll give the batter the advantage. So that's how this works. Then you'll have errors when you need it. You're going to pull a new card for each part of this. It'll give you the instructions on how to follow it. But here's your out sequence. So if the batter makes an out, you pull a card and the random number falls within the out range of the batter card because you're using the batter card. It could happen if it's on the pitcher card as well. But then you want to pull a card and look at the outs. The outs are right there, and it could be. It'll tell you what kind of an out it is, and that is on the. We're not going to look at that right now. We'll look at the cards in a second. But anyway. All types of different outs. It has to do with what kind of is he a lefty pull hitter? Is he a spray hitter? And that's on the cards as well. It tells you at the bottom, see RN. So he would be a righty something. I forget what the N stands for, but neutral I think it is. I'm not sure. But anyway, it'll tell you the out based on the type of hitter who's batting. So pull hitters are going to hit more. Outs into the corners, and of course spray hitters will hit them more all over the field, and so on and so forth. And these are two-sided cards, so you have more results on each card. So you have 98, but it's really almost 200 to 96 because each card. You have 98 cards, and then you have two sides, so that's double. And then you have an extra side on each side, so that's another double. So you have about 400 different results on these cards, which is pretty cool. So you can turn them upside down, you can see that? So this is a PB number of 10 and a random number of 38. The 10 would be for the pitcher batter. If the number falls within the pitcher, this is pretty high. It's usually the batter, but a 3 would definitely be the pitcher. Regardless, but the 10 would have to be a really good pitcher with a really good season, like a 68 Bob Gibson or something will probably go up to 10. I'm not sure. I don't have 68, but I do have 61, and that's I may play a game pretty soon with that. Anyway, those are the fast action cards, and that's all the information I give you. Now here's some examples of some hitter cards. This is the AL now, 83 Chicago. You got Fletcher, Fisk, Carlton Fisk. 83. Oh, yeah, okay. So Carlton Fisk is already on Chicago by this point. Don't ask me why. But here are the numbers. So, if you roll, or if you pull a card and it's an 11, you look here and it's an infield single. If it's a 12 to 14, it's a single to left. If it's a 15 to 17, and that's the random number that I just showed you on the right side of the card, you get your PB. Pitcher batter number on the left, and then the random number on the right. But you'll keep on for each time you need a number, need information. Just quickly pull a card because you want to get the greatest variety of results, and that's how you're going to keep that. And single to right field would be called a first base 9, 18 to 21. If you pull a 22 to 23, it'll be a double to left. A double to center is 24 to 25. Now, he's a righty pull hitter. So that's what he's considered, a righty pull hitter. So his outs are going to be more to the left side of the infield. Okay, not all the time, but generally it'll be to the right side of the infield. On a 28, he hit a triple, so he had some triples. He hit some home runs. This is his hit and run number, 0. So he's basic He's not, well, everybody's got a 0, so he's not very good at hit and run. He can probably hit and run. Rudy Law is the best one at a 2. Everybody else here, a 1 for Miguel Delaunay, and a 2 for Scott Fletcher. Usually the infielders during this era were good hit and run guys or the contact guys, not guys like Fisk here. Mike Squires is a 1, so he's an okay hit and run guy. So once you learn that, that'll give you an advantage. Now let's see who the good bunters are. There he goes, Fletcher, BB. He's a good bunter. Fisk, not a great bunter. Oh, Dubinsky, Jerry Dubinsky, third baseman, shortstop, utility infielder type. Well, actually, he played 118 games. He's a very good bunter, so you want to bunt with him, bat him second. Miguel Delaunay, not a good bunter. I don't know. I would think a speedy guy, center fielder like that with a lot of stolen bases. Now his stolen bases on base, I think it's the SP, I believe. This is his speed. Hold on, I'll look at Fisk. Fisk has both. Scott Fletcher has speedy. He's a good base runner, but doesn't steal a lot of bases. That makes sense to me. So Delaunay is really good on the bases, but he also steals bases, so he's a B. That'll give him an advantage. Hairston is good on the bases, but does not steal any bases. Mark Hill does not steal any bases. He's not very good on the bases either. He's a D. So this is your base running, around the bases, and this is your stolen base right here, and that's so that's kind of understanding the card. Then you have your injury numbers: 8, 6, 8, 3. Ron Kittle played in 139 games, so his is low. Rudy Law is a 3. He played in 132 games, so I'm seeing that if you played in 130 some odd games, you'll have a 3. Mark Hill played in 55 games here, and 2 is DH and 1 at first base, so he'll have an 8. So if you played in around 50 games, you'll have an 8. And that's how you can learn to kind of create your own cards as well. You can create your own teams and do whatever you want. If you have grandkids or still have kids playing baseball, you can create their teams with the cards. It's very simple to create these players. The instructions are in the set, in the rules. So anyway, I went over the cards a little bit. The pitcher cards. Let's look at the pitcher cards. So if the pitcher batter number on the fast action cards falls within, let's look for somebody who's halfway decent in 83. Bob Gibson was still playing in 83. Is this the Bob Gibson? Must be a new Bob Gibson. Okay. Anyway, I don't. Let's see if there's anybody halfway decent. Okay, this guy, Kokenauer. Whoa, what kind of name is that? Kokenauer, Milwaukee. So this is Milwaukee. So yeah. So Kurt probably knows these guys really well. He's a big Milwaukee fan and from Milwaukee. Kokenauer, I believe that's how you say it, and he's pretty good actually. So I think he had a pretty good season because he's a 2-9. So 2-9 is pretty impressive in this game. So that gives you a big range, right? For example, Jerry Augustine's only 2-5. Most average guys are 2-6. Then Pete Ladd had a pretty good season. He's 2-8. It doesn't really say how many innings they pitched on these cards. Oh, here it is. Starts in relief. So Pete Ladd had 44 relief appearances, no starts. Moose Haas had 25-0, so he had 25 starts, no relief. He's not bad, 2-7. That's okay. And that's the system that they use. So it could be off the pitcher. If it's off the pitcher card, you're going to see many fewer hits, only singles, the doubles, the triples, the homers. And that's a little bit like there's an element of that in deep drive baseball where they have a separate deep drive chart. And that's a cool aspect of that game. I would highly recommend that game as well. It's very inexpensive to get into, $15 for the whole season for all the players, and only has 3 or 4 pages of rules, very easy to follow. But it is a 50-50 game. Some guys don't like that, but it still flows. It's a 50-50 game with a twist because you have the deep drive chart. So anyway, that's how these run. And as you can see, in 11, would be a single. 12 to 13 would be a single, up to 17. But after that, it becomes strikeouts, walks, pass ball, wild pitch, and out. And just going over these games makes me want to play them. So that's a good thing that I'm doing this. And here's Reggie Jackson. Look at that. He was with California in '83. You had Bobby Grich, Tim Foley, Joe Ferguson, Brian Downing. Was Rudy still on this team? I think this was his last season, or he already had retired. I'm not sure. He's one of my favorite players. Although I get into arguments with people all the time that he was not really, a superstar. Although he was an above-average player, a good team player, a clutch guy, good outfielder, and so forth. He just wasn't, Reggie Jackson, who just was lights out. But I get into arguments with people over that. But Rudy was still one of my favorite players, and I just don't think that he was at that level. He wasn't at the Dave Parker level. Anyway, I don't see Rudy on California. Let's see what the rest of the California Angels are. I don't want to just tear this apart because it's nice to keep it together like this, but the other Angels probably are on the other side somewhere. Let me see. Spin this around. Cleveland, Milwaukee, Minnesota, Detroit. Well, how many Detroit Tigers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But there's a lot more than that here somewhere. Now these are pretty thick cards and pretty thick cardboard. Okay, you get two sides of this. You got Toby Harrah on Cleveland on Hassie. And okay, there's more Angels on this side. Right? Or was that this is the side I just looked at. Yeah, I think it was the side I just looked at. Cleveland, Detroit. There could be another additional chart, I don't know. Well, there was a set of players at the beginning of this, and there's some more here. So I've never been through this game, so I don't know if this is authentic or inauthentic, although I know what game it is because I can see it. But even if it arrived in a box, I would still know what I'm getting. I just didn't open the box that it came with on my video. But I still never looked at this. Davis, this is Minnesota. These are the pitchers. The pitchers are blue on white. There's more players here. This is Boston, Cincinnati. The players are all over the place. This is the Yankees. Bert Campaneris was on the Yankees in '83. That was the first year for Don Mattingly. He played second base one game. I mean, look, it's right there. It's one game at second base. How cool is that? So 1984 Avalon Hill. So a lot of these parts are copyrighted in '82, '78, but this one particularly was created in '84, and then it represented the '83 season. Griffey, Oscar Gamble is still on the Yankees. Wow. Greg Nettles is still on the Yankees. Then he goes to San Diego, I believe, the following year. Moreno, Bobby Mercer, and so on and so forth. Mattingly in '83 had not a great season. He only had 2 home run numbers, 36 to 37. In terms of power, I don't know. It seems okay. When you get up to close to the late 30s, you probably batted upwards of 280, 290. As you can see right here, 4. Campaneris had a good season. Baylor has 7 home run numbers, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 7 home run numbers. So, whereas Mattingly only has 2. So, as you can see, a guy that hit more home runs is going to have more home run range. Bert Campaneris hit no home runs, so he has nothing there. It's a blank. Well, he's going to strike out off the pitcher card. You can't hit home runs off the pitcher card, but he will strike out off the pitcher card, and he will walk off the pitcher card. If you strike out more than the average, then you'll have your strikeout numbers like where is Balboni? He will have 32 to 56. So he was struck out a ton. Anyway, that's how you read that, and that's about it. And there's a couple more teams here. There's more pictures here, a lot of pictures. But you should be able to get. Let's see if I can find more players on these teams. Yeah, you see, okay, this team has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 batters. Okay. All right, so Yankees have 20 batters, and then I don't know how many pitchers, but from when I played this, I kept on finding every guy that would start, and I had all the players. When I played, what season I played? I played 84 for about 2 or 3 months, and then I played, what else did I play? I can't remember what else I played. Well, then I played a lot of, different series at different times, and so on and so forth. I think I played some World Series games and so on. And so yeah, so that's that. And then of course you'll have the pitcher card. So that's why I wasn't counting a lot of players, because you get the batters and then you get the pitchers, and that adds up to whatever, 30, 35 players, with depending. Every team is different. Some teams will have 35 players, some teams will have 29, 30 players. It depends on how many teams or how many players are used by that team. And let's see if we can find Yankee pitchers. Probably not. And I don't want to open all this up. Anyway, that's the whole story. That's the game. Now the back end of the box also has some information. It gives you some cool details. Has some nice pictures. This box has been beat up pretty much. You get over 700 players. So it made regularly in the previous season. Every big league team you get comes to stats regularly for the season. That's more than 700 individual cards. Statistics accurate in hitting, pitching, fielding. Replay the entire season. So I don't know. I found that there was every player. I'm not sure if there's every player. I didn't look at. I can't swear by that in this 83 season. But when I played the seasons that I played, the 84 season, I think I remember the 84 season. A couple other seasons I played a few weeks of. Also had all the players. I remember, pretty sure. So anyway, that's about it. And I hope you enjoyed the unboxing. I went into detail. So if you want to know more about this game, this is, I think, the video to watch, and subscribe to my channel. There'll be a lot more stuff coming your way. Some interesting videos that you're really going to find, I think, very informative and fascinating. And that's about it. So thanks for watching. This is Tony Porter, and I will see you very soon. Hey guys, thanks for watching my video. I just want to say Happy New Year to everybody, and appreciate you guys out there. And remember to like and subscribe, and to watch out for my new stuff that's coming out. I think you're going to be very interested in the information I'm going to be relaying. Take care now.